Yeah, God just did it. We're good.
Okay, great. No, it's really good. So, continuing to talk about like this area,
Yeah.
what is, what have been, in addition to just the enslavement and chains of like the shrine and the temple and everything,
Yeah.
when you talk to people about Christ, what are some of the big obstacles in their belief that they bring up that are sticking points to the gospel? I guess. What are some big barriers of belief?
Well, I think that most of it has to do with ignorance. They are brought up, I don't mean in a bad way, ignorance. I mean they're brought up to in Japanese society with Japanese culture, and so they're brought up worshiping both at Shinto shrines and Buddhist temples, which teach two different things, but they don't seem to care. And so there's kind of an apathy towards those kind of things, and there's a real misunderstanding about what Christianity is about, because they look at the Shintoism and the Buddhism, they're both businesses to a large extent. They're out to collect money through various ceremonies, and so I actually have people occasionally who will say to me, how's business, and I tell them I'm not a business, it's free, but they have that kind of thinking, and there's a lot of misinformation about Christianity that exists. There's a lot of books written that they're very simple to read, but they really don't explain the gospel. They really are written by non-Christians about Christianity. Well, how can a non-Christian write something about Christianity and really be authoritative? You really have to experience it. And so there's a lot of that kind of material. And then the other thing is that sometimes there are hang on just a minute, a thought just floated out of my head. But there's the problem that a lot of Japanese will look at America and say, America's a Christian country. Why are they going to war? It's a tough question to answer, America does have a Christian base. However, many things that are done politically are not based upon the Word of God. And so you have to kind of re-educate people sometimes about those kinds of things. So it's really is, there's just a lot of misinformation, and people's minds really have to be cleared up about that. I mentioned to you in our previous conversations that I have different Bible studies going on. I have one here with a couple of families here in the area, and I'm doing a study which starts from Genesis and works all the way up through the life of Christ. And it's based upon material from the New Tribes missions, and it's to build a foundation for people in order to understand what the Bible is really about. Because you can read the gospel and people will be touched by it. They're touched by Christ dying on the cross for them, and they say, oh yes, I'll believe. But they don't have any kind of foundation to stand on. And they don't understand God. They don't understand that God made everything. They think it all evolved. And so you have to go back and you have to set up this very firm foundation so they understand it. So I'm going through this course, and I'm at about lesson 40 with one group, and everybody in there can tell me the gospel already. And they understand where it's from and why it is, why God has the authority that He does, and what sin is, and why man is sinful. And so they understand these things, and they all fit together. And two of them are clearly, by their own mouths, are believers, and the other two I'm hoping will come along very quickly. I don't see why they shouldn't, but Lord has to work in their hearts a little bit more, I think. But at any rate, that's kind of the situation in trying to reach the people. The city, to one big difference between the country and the city. In the country, everybody knows each other, but in the city, you can live in an apartment, you don't know who your neighbor is. There's anonymity in the city. And that actually is a blessing in a lot of ways. It gives people, young people particularly, a lot of freedom to do anything they want. Who's going to know, right? On the other hand, it also unchains them from a lot of tradition or family responsibilities or anything like that that you have here. So there's pluses and minuses to no matter where you go, but that's one big difference between the country and the city, is here everybody knows everybody else. And so, but that's also an advantage because I came here with the idea of, okay, this is where the Lord led me. If the Lord leads me someplace else, that's fine, but I intend to stay here and to die here if I have to. I have no intention of going any other place other than where the Lord wants me, and then right now He wants me here. So I'm willing to give my life here for the Japanese people. And I'm very happy to be able to have this opportunity to be able to do something for the Lord that way. I don't deserve to have such an honor, but He gave it to me, so.
Good. Could you tell us maybe a story